And
Let me
so,
ask you this about this time. You
excuse
were
me.
part of the King's Court, and somebody that you were feuding with a lot, someone you had matches with, someone you saw wrestle a lot, was in 2006 was a young Bobby Lashley. What were
Yeah,
your
yeah.
and of
So
course
that
Bobby Lashley is going stronger than ever now. He's
can
just
I just say this
sure.
because
I
this
was going
is
to
a
ask what your first impressions were,
right. Well,
but
first
go
of
ahead
all,
and say what
I
you want to say.
liked him. He was
Yeah.
just a lovely, polite, lovely fella. And obviously, you know, there's only been two times in my life when I've ever felt, let me say, from probably being 19 onwards. When I was younger, I was just, I could, people, it was getting a bit different once I was getting near me later when I was 18. And with all these things of having people around me that were saying, look, don't let anybody take liberties with you. There could a lot of people and still could take liberties with me if they wanted, but again, it was fronting people up and stuff. But there's only been two times in my life when I've felt completely helpless in the ring, and these were when I was grown up, right, and knew whatever I knew. One was one of the first time, I think the first time I wrestled Bobby, and he, without meaning it, I just whatever, he grabbed me and threw me. So there was nothing I could have done to stop myself flying from one side of the ring to the other. Let's put it that way. And I just realised this man's just in a different league, right? I
Right.
never wrestled Brock, and I'm sure Brock could have done the same. But I also know a lot of tricks to stop people that. But I wasn't expecting that. I just said, whatever. I said something to him, just throw me. And before I knew it, I was on the other side of the ring. And I was going, oh, my, this fella's in a different ring. The only other time was I wrestled in 1992. I went to Egypt and I wrestled a fella called Klaus Vallis. Klaus Vallis was a silver, super heavyweight, silver medalist judo player in the Olympics, and was also rated in the top, I think it was 5 people of the world's strongest man. And he used to be a wrestler for Otto Vance's company, and he hadn't wrestled for 5 years. And his first match back after 5 years in Egypt was against me. And he's a huge man, and he didn't, wasn't meaning to do this, but he does all those judo, and because he just hadn't wrestled for 5 years, hadn't done any pro wrestling, but he was training, and he was just a huge, strong man, right? I mean, proper, massive future, and he just grabbing hold of me and going into instinct because he was trying to remember what to do as a pro wrestler. Boom! Just like, them judo fellas in a different league.
Sure.
They can just throw you from,
Pillar to
ourselves to
post.
breakfast time,
Yeah.
right? It's just boom, and I'm hitting the floor, and he's going, "I'm sorry," and he was in his Austrian accent. I'm so sorry, darling. I'm so boom. All right, all right. And I'm trying to grab onto things because I know how to stop people throwing me about.
Right.
But it was just too fast and too quick because
Right.
they're in a different level of athletes. So I got to wrestle Bobby a lot. Bobby came up to me when I was doing a tryout at SummerSlam last year. Bobby actually came up to me and said, "I want to thank you." And I'm watching the tryout people, and I said, "Hey Bob, how you doing? Nice to see you." I hadn't seen him for a while because obviously I was down in NXT. "Hey Bobby, how you doing? Nice to see you. You're doing well." And I really am because I always liked Bobby. Really nice lad, really lovely fella, really lovely fella. I said, I'm glad to see you doing well. You're back and doing well and everything. And he went, "I just want to thank you." And I said, "Well, first of all, you never have to thank me for anything, but you know, okay." And he said, "No, I want to thank you." He said, "I had it easy." He said, "My first year on the road, which I believe was 2006, he said, I wrestled," and he had the exact figures. He said, "I wrestled you 60, I forget what he said, 60 something times, and I wrestled Fit 60 something times." And he said, "You just let, he said, in that year, I just learned everything." That's one of those things that I feel really bad for now for the younger talent, because this is somebody coming into the job and getting to wrestle. You know, I am what I am, but I know what I'm doing. He got 120 something matches in 1 year against Fit Finlay and William Regal. Who gets that now?
Right. Those reps, huh?
That reps against people who've been doing this for a lifetime.
Right.
And it just that's one of the things. So yes, Bobby, I really, that's why another thing with the BCC, that's what we really try, because we all understand we got to where we got to by having reps against good people, or having to figure it out, or finally finding people, or people helping us along the way, and we want to give back. But how do you give back to like you've got right wrestle us, and it's going to be worth a minimum, if not 1,000 matches, it might be worth a minimum of 100, that you've got to wrestle somebody of that caliber quickly. And so that's where that's a real thing. And that was something going into this that I've kept in my mind, what Bobby said to me last year about how he said, how fortunate was I to get to wrestle you and Fit 120 odd times in a year, which on live events, not just TV, on live events. So you're just getting rep after rep with people who can move you into position, and to, oh no, don't do that yet, don't do this yet, no, to listen to the people, that all those things that we were both passed on, but through people teaching us, we got to pass them on and help him.